This painting has a quiet but devastating moral force. One of the things that makes it so powerful is that Wallis refuses sentimentality. Whether the man is asleep or dead, the question hangs in the air. What kind of society leaves a laborer so exhausted that we can't tell the difference? The issue isn't that this man chose to overwork himself. The painting is from the height of the Industrial Revolution, before labor standards limited harm to employees. And it also comes from a time when the prison systems forced people to break rocks all day for no reason other than to keep them busy. Henry Wallis in The Stone Breaker is asking us to look at and see the results of these systems of his day. And in doing so, he forces us to examine the value of human life. For me, the time of contemplation becomes a time of listening to God's response to these situations and questions. And it is likely that in listening, God will call me out of passivity and into a response. This is when prayer is not simply lifting something to God, it is expecting God to call us to action. Our listening prayer mobilizes the people of God to change the very systems that we pray about. Are you ready to be challenged? Then prepare yourself as you normally do to listen for God. Make yourself physically comfortable. Release your stress. Breathe deep and savor the life-giving air. And we begin our challenge to listen with James chapter 5, verses 4 through 6. Laborers mowed your fields, and you cheated them. Listen to the wages that you kept back. They call out against you. Realize that the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of our God Most High. On earth you've had a life of comfort and luxury. You've been fattening yourselves for the day of slaughter. It was you who condemned the innocent and killed them. They offered you no resistance. What are your first thoughts and emotions in listening to this passage? What is your first impression of the painting? What details do you notice about the man? Allow your mind to drift to similar stories, pictures, or people. What comes to mind? What thoughts and feelings is God stirring within you? Listen as God reveals more to you. Look back at the whole image. What is God calling you to do in response to your contemplation so far? What might the first step of that response be? What fears or concerns do you have about taking this step? Share those with God. How does God respond to your fears and concerns? Spend one more minute in God's presence, simply drawing strength from God. I invite you to finish up your time of contemplation. There are times when I go to prayer and I simply want to be comforted like a child held in a parent's arms. But there are times when I want to be challenged. Maybe I'm a little unusual in that, but I suspect not. Sometimes the things of this world cause my heart to ache, and I want to do something. Contemplations like this one help us to shape that nebulous something into a more concrete reality. Honestly, my first step in response to this image was to create an episode as a way of reminding us all that God cares about every worker in every time and place, and we cannot allow the temptations to dehumanize each other win. If you are willing to share your first step, I would love to know what you've been motivated to do. But if you wish to keep that private, I respect that. I do pray that God helps you to complete that first task. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and invite a friend to subscribe too, and you can talk about this episode and what God is calling you to do it's great to have others to have conversations with these things about. Until next week, be blessed.